Happy Friday. It's good to see you all. Hello to all our Facebook friends. My name is Ingrid Jean-Baptiste. I'm the founder and director of the Chelsea Film Festival. Welcome to CFF Talks TV series. It's a program we created during the pandemic to bring people together. And today it's our 13th episode. You will be able to ask your questions during the second part of the program by posting that in the comment section on Facebook. I'm very excited to welcome cast members from Julie and the Phantoms. They are joining us from Los Angeles and also from Oklahoma. We have Jadah Mary, who plays Flynn, and Owen Patrick Joyner, who plays Alex, one of the Phantoms. Welcome. And
Hello.
last,
Hi.
and last but not least, I'd like to welcome my co-host for today's program. Her name is Kiki Lamden-Stout. She is a writer, director, producer, the founder and CEO of Madcat Films. She is a lifetime member of the Actors Studio, a former jury member of the Chelsea Film Festival, and currently sits on our advisory board. And she's also joining us for another part of the town. She is joining us from Austin, Texas. Welcome, Kiki. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We are interviewing two of the cast members, as Ingrid said, from Julie and the Phantoms. I watched this show and I had so much fun. It is such a blast. And these two are just so amazing in their performances. So we're going to jump in with some questions. And then at the last bit, we will turn it out to take questions off of the chat from the audience.
Okay.
So Owen and Jadah, both of you started acting, at a pretty young age. So how did you get into acting? What was your first job or what was your entry point into being a professional actor?
A professional actor. Wow. I started in 2010, 2011. I was playing baseball in Norman, Oklahoma, and I went to my friend's theater show. She was doing Aladdin Jr. And I went, I watched it, and the director came up to me afterwards and was like, "You have to audition for our next show." And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm not singing and dancing on stage. That's for girls. I play baseball." And that was it for a while. And then somehow, I don't know how it happened, someone convinced me to audition. I auditioned, and I got one of the main parts, and I instantly fell in love. I love theater. And after that, I did like 26, 30 musicals, just back to back to back. I quit baseball. I quit sports. I was like, that's stupid. I'm doing musicals forever. And then I went and I think I got headshots done for musicals, like for theater. And he told me I needed to get an agent. So then it just kind of fell together, and I got an agent and I got a manager. And they sent me on, I had my first pilot season when I was about 13. And I auditioned for a show called 100 Things to Do Before High School on Nickelodeon. And I was not very good, but I booked it. I don't know how. It was just it was all luck. And I booked it, and I was blown away. And I remember thinking oh, this acting thing, this is easy. I was like, I can do this. This is easy. The show got canceled after 26 episodes. And I was like, no sweat. I'll just do it again. I'll just audition real quick and book something else. And then about 200 auditions later, I'm not booking anything. And I was like, I can't do this. This is awful. And then eventually I booked something else on Nickelodeon, and another thing. And then along came Julie and the Phantoms. So just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions later, I got a part that kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm. And Jadah, what about you?
Yeah, I started acting because my dad is also in the industry, and I'm such a daddy's girl. I'm always with my dad, so I just wanted to be my dad, and I was like, I want to be an actor. What's that? I want to be it. What? And he was like, okay. So then he got me doing commercials first, started off doing commercials, and then I just fell in love with it, and yeah.
So when you were talking about how all of those musicals that you did when you were, a child, and I guess into your early teens, all of that obviously paid off, especially for this role. So I'd like to ask both of you, how did you go about preparing for both of your roles in Julie and the Phantoms?
There wasn't a lot. I got the audition in LA. I was still living in LA, and it was pilot season came right after my show Night Squad had ended. And I was, I think, 18 going on 19 or 19. I think I was 18 going on 19. And that year is like so crucial, I feel like, when you're growing up. And all my friends were going to university or they were going to college. And I was like, this is, I remember thinking like this pilot season is the most important pilot season of my career and my life, because this is when I prove to people back home, everywhere in the world, my agents, my reps, whoever it is, that, you know, I'm an adult and I'm an actor and I can do this as a career. And I remember putting so much, pressure behind that pilot season. I remember just throwing up after self tapes because I was so nervous, and I put so much pressure on myself to book a part. And then this, you know, Julie and the Phantoms came around, and it was like, kid has to sing, he has to be a drummer, and has to act. And I was like, I got it, perfect, this is beautiful. And I hadn't drummed in forever and ever and ever in years. So I remember going and for like 3 weeks, I set up my drum kit and I played for hours and hours and hours every single day. And I remember one time, I always wear these rings. So when I was playing, my drumsticks, I guess, were rubbing against these rings, and I looked down and there was just like blood going down my hand. And I was like, I better book this. So, you know, it was just like, it wasn't a lot of, I guess, like preparation. I mean, it was 3 weeks of like intense drumming to kind of get myself back into it. But I felt kind of thrown into it, especially like the recording aspect of it. You know, you can't really get ready for these things. And then especially working with Kenny, he kind of like switches it up on you every single day. Wouldn't you think, Jadah? Like every day you kind of walk in on set and there's something else that you have to do, like something new.
Literally. But it's his creative process. He's so creative and like, oh, amazing director. He's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's done so many, I mean, High School Musical, I mean, the list goes on and on. He really is kind of an icon in this space. And how is it like working with him? I mean, aside from him kind of throwing you, you know, it's spontaneous. Like, did you have a long rehearsal process? How did you develop like the chemistry? I mean, both of you have chemistry between the best friends, you know, you and Jadah. I mean, Jadah and Julie's character, you playing best friends, and then of course with the Phantoms, the band.
Right.
So my first question is, what is it like to work with Kenny? And then two, however he had you rehearse, how did you develop the chemistry that you had between each other?
You want to take it, Jadah?
Okay. The first question with Kenny. Kenny is oh my gosh, I've worked with Kenny before with Descendants 3, and he is an amazing director. He's so genuine and he's so nice and so caring. And I love him. He's so sweet. And for the second question, it would be, honestly, it was so easy working with the guys and Madison, because we just all kind of clicked. I feel like me and Madison talk about this every single day. We're like, I can't see anybody else playing our roles. Like, we were all casted so perfectly. Like, it was so perfect. And we honestly feel like it was just amazing luck, I guess, because we're just, I don't know, they're just so amazing. And we clicked instantly. And now they're like my family.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the magic, I feel like, behind Kenny and what he does, is that I remember showing up the first day. We were doing like the whole, like, we had this 8-week kind of rehearsal intensive process of like everyone broke down their instruments and we're getting ready to record the album and stuff like that. And the first day we walked in, he said, this is going to be an environment where there's no judgment, and you guys are going to be able to try different things without being nervous of, you know, being embarrassed by other castmates. And he really created an environment where we could trust each other. And I think that trust kind of built that chemistry that you see, because we skipped all these steps of being new friends and trying to feel each other out, where right from the start of it, our walls were taken down, saying, hey, I can trust this person, I can trust this person, so we can try different things and not be embarrassed. So I feel like we just kind of jumped right into being really, really good friends because we could trust each other. And I think that's what you see in the show. And you know, that's kind of Kenny's genius, is building a family instead of, you know, you know, these are your lines. This is this, that, you know what I mean? It's really just a family where we can trust each other. And so he allowed us to build that chemistry. And people really see that. I mean, I feel like we're really, really good friends.
I think that definitely plays on screen across the board. There's a camaraderie there, and it feels like there's a backstory, and like you're all, you know, old friends that you grew up together. And so that, I think that is just, it was so fun to watch and to see, you know, Madison and you know, like you said, Jadah, you two, you know, for me, these two girls grew up together. And one of the things I loved about their relationship was showing, you know, female relationships are always, I think, difficult to capture on film without it falling into stereotypes or, you know, going to the tropes that we usually have. And one thing I really loved was that these two girls really love each other. And I wanted to ask you, how did you and Madison prep those scenes? I mean, aside from this rehearsal process, did you hang out outside a set? Do you, what was that like? Do you have a relationship just outside of filming?
Yes, actually, my first ever audition for Julie and the Phantoms was a chemistry read with Madison. And so I've never had that before. Like I was so scared because normally you have like 2 auditions prior to that. So I just like went straight to the chemistry read and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna meet her. Hopefully she likes me. Like I was getting like, oh my gosh, it was so bad. I was like, hopefully she likes me. And I was just like, I didn't even talk to my dad the whole car ride because I was thinking of stuff to say to her. I was like, yeah, my dad was like, you need to chill out. But actually the chemistry read didn't even feel like an audition. It really didn't. It just felt like I was there with like my best friend that I've known since I was like 4. And even in the audition, like the producers and Dan and Dave were just waiting for us to stop talking, because we were just like talking and we were just like laughing and giggling like the whole time. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're not gonna book me because I was so unprofessional. Like I was like, oh my gosh, but it felt like actual real fun. And then right after the audition, Madison, she asked me for my number. We just texted, we FaceTimed the whole day. Like it was just so much fun. And we just like honestly like grew that friendship by ourselves. Even before like we knew that I was even casted, we clicked so fast and so well that we were just like, she's gonna be my best friend. And it just made our characters connect even more. I feel like it was so genuine because we really do love each other. So
yeah, I mean, I think that totally reads. And you know, for you, Owen, I want to ask you a question too. Not only do you have your relationship with the Phantoms, but you also have another relationship that you meet with the actor. I think his name is Booboo.
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 Booboo. And I really, can you talk a little bit about how you developed that relationship? Because what I really enjoyed was these two guys meeting each other and finding this commonality through the awkwardness of where they are in life. Like there was a real, for lack of a better word, sweetness to them and believable.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, first of all, working with Booboo was really exciting because I had watched his stuff before, but also, you know, in all the other projects that I've done, I've never really had a relationship in I've never had like a love interest in any of the other shows that I've done. So, you know, I was nervous about that. And I was also nervous you know, Booboo wasn't he wasn't a series. He is a series regular. I think he's in almost every episode, but he wasn't there in Vancouver the entire time. So I didn't get that chance to build a chemistry or really get to know him as a friend. You know, and that's so important when you're acting because you want to be able to really know this person that you're sitting across from, especially when he's playing a love interest. You know, you really want to be able you really want to feel like you can try anything while you're doing these scenes. So, but he was really, really cool, really professional. And I remember right when he landed in Vancouver, he texted me. He's like, hey, man, let's go through these scenes. Because I think one of our biggest scenes, a lot of it was cut, I think, due to time. But that museum scene between us was actually a lot bigger. It was a lot longer. And it was a pretty big scene for me and also him. And I remember he landed, we were going to film the next day, and he came that night, and we were just running the scenes, and we kind of instantly clicked, and you know, felt much more comfortable doing that. But yeah, I mean, I love that relationship. I think it's so fun. And Alex's, you know, Alex's character, he's freaking out constantly about his anxiety. He's kind of that character that, you know, he doesn't have his mind wrapped around an entire subject, so he starts freaking out until he has that kind of control. And that's just kind of what Booboo's character is there for. You know, he's that outside perspective to kind of to put a hand on his shoulder and say, hey, it's going to be all right.
Yeah, and like you touched on this, his anxiety. I mean, each character kind of goes through, you know, their specific individual struggles. And so how did you relate to the conflicts that, you know, your characters face? Was there any overlap where you're like, oh, I understand this facet of this character?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of the things that Alex's character struggled with, I mean, there was a lot of, I wanted a lot of outside perspective, and a lot of that because, you know, maybe I personally couldn't relate to it. I wanted to play it as honestly as I could and as respectfully as I could. So, you know, a lot of that came from a lot of the backstory. I went to Kenny for, you know, because Kenny had a lot of ideas for the character. But especially Alex's anxiety. I mean, that was something I was really able to relate to. Freaking out over not knowing everything is something that I do a lot. And that's something, you know, that Alex, he's sitting in the garage, the band room, and, you know, he's freaking out because he's a ghost, you know, respectfully so, and he just leaves. And I've done that before, you know, I've been in those shoes. So I kind of knew what that felt like, and I kind of knew where to go with it.
Right. Honestly, I feel the same way. Because when Flynn was mad at Julie, I honestly, my first instinct was like, why is she mad at her? It's okay, give her like 2 more days. She could have told her, right? But then I actually thought about it, and that's the only people that they had, you know? And it's like those two were just like them. It was just them two, you know, them against the world. So I kind of understood why she felt so betrayed, is because that's her best friend. That's all they've had. They've always had each other to tell each other those things. So I was like, okay, well, now I get her. Now I get it.
Yeah, the secret, you know, they have their secrets, and Julie didn't let Flynn in on the secret, you know, and you played that so well, because I was like, yeah, I thought, oh, Julie, you're gonna get in trouble. You're not telling Flynn about this. And then, you know, the resolution, I thought, was such a beautiful scene between the Phantom singing and then, you know, Julie apologizing to you through song. And, you know, music, of course, is such an integral piece to the whole story. It's really about, you know, finding your voice and, you know, like the power to pursue your passions.
Yes.
So I have a question. We have a lot, and we've been talking about auditions and pilot season, and we have a lot of young fans that want to know, what have you like learned along the way that you wish you had known, or that has encouraged you to pursue your dream? So something that, so I guess to phrase the question not into this big, full philosophical way, but
sure, like an acting.
Yeah, like in this process with Julie and the Phantoms, have you learned, you know, because you filmed this, and then we went to lockdown, we went to COVID, and the release of it was in the COVID. You didn't get to do the marketing, but, you know, did you learn something along the way that you wish you had known, or encouraged you to pursue your dream?
Well, I learned two big things. One general, like, thing that I learned about like the industry itself, and kind of growing up in it and freaking out trying to get parts. Nobody really knows what's happening, or no one knows some secret to the industry. No one knows. Everybody is it's kind of a big free for all. So if you're sitting there and you're auditioning part by part by part by part, and you're like, there's something I'm not doing because this person's booking this, and this person's booking this, and this person's, there's no secret. There isn't. It's just auditioning as many times as you can, and it's like almost like a numbers game. Like, I mean, I haven't gotten parts because I have blonde hair. So when you keep getting rejected and keep getting rejected, and it's gonna happen because it happens to every single one of us. Don't think it's because you're a bad actor. Don't think it's because you suck. It can be as little as, oh, we want somebody with a different nose. You know what I mean? It could be, we want someone with curly hair. And I've been turned down for so many parts because of things like that. Now, regarding Julie and the Phantoms, the biggest thing that I learned was working with Kenny Ortega is that I don't have very much confidence. It might seem like I do, but it's kind of a show. And working with Kenny, he will give you the most confidence. He will give you big lessons in confidence. I mean, he would constantly push me outside of my comfort zone. I remember being excited that my part didn't have any dancing. I remember the show having no dancing and being like, oh my God, thank God, I hate dancing. It's the worst. I'm awful at it. And the third day I showed up, this guy comes up to me and says, you're going to have a huge dance number with Carrie, Dirty Candy, and you're going to be in the background. It's going to be amazing. And he left and my jaw was on the ground. I was like, I don't want to do this, but you can't tell Kenny that. And after that experience, I mean, it's one of my favorite memories, of doing the entire show, and now I'm not embarrassed to dance. So, little things like that, constantly pushing us outside of our comfort zones.
I know. And the Dirty Candy, I mean, I would have loved to have seen you in those sequined tights.
Yeah, season 2. Yeah, that's actually what we're working on, season 2. There's negotiations happening for the sparkly pants.
You killed it.
Thank you so much.
So you were just talking about dancing and the big dance sequences. So, how's the process of filming? First of all, you recorded the record, then you went to shoot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then so what my question is, how does the process of filming the musical scenes differentiate between the process of doing the scenes that are more dialogue driven?
Right.
Well, it's all, so we're playing live while we're doing it, so we know all of our parts. That's what that 6-week rehearsal process was for. Kenny and we all really wanted to build a band. We wanted to be a band first, and then go and shoot these scenes. So when people watched it, they really said, oh my gosh, they're playing their part. They're playing that part. I mean, if you look at every single person on stage, we're all playing our parts. But we recorded it beforehand, though, obviously, because, I mean, that would have taken 18 years to film the entire show if we recorded the music live. So, we went and we rehearsed. So we learned all of our parts, and then we went and we recorded the album, and then we would go, and there'd be like a backtrack, and we'd play, and we'd get all our shots. So it's really a big backtrack behind it. But the toughest thing is like keeping your energy for 18 hours doing, I mean, if you guys go and watch Now or Never, we're sitting there jumping up and down or like trying to rock out, but it looks like 2.5 minutes, but really, we sat there for a 22-hour day with these lights that I swear were from the 90s. I mean, they were like these humongous lights that had they were the hottest things in the world, and there were about 1,000 of them, like 10 feet away. So we're like dripping with sweat. And the hardest difference is keeping that energy up, in those musical performances to keep it exciting.
Right.
What was it like? Because what did you guys do for like all your DJ stuff? What I mean, 'cause I wasn't there for any of that. Did you guys?
For the DJ stuff, they had like this like music, and then they had this like DJ board, and I was just having fun.
Just like
So much fun. I was like, okay. I did not know what I was doing. I look good.
I know those were really fun too, and the songs that you got a chance to rap.
Yes, and I got the music. I actually heard I got the music in LA before we even went to Vancouver, and before I even even got to like record it because I didn't record in LA with them. I recorded it in Vancouver.
Oh,
Yeah, because like I think it was time.
right.
Honestly, I think I don't know.
Time. Everything's time and money.
Everything's time.
Always
So
running
it probably was, honestly.
So how long was the shoot in Vancouver for? How many weeks were all of y'all there for?
3 months?
Oh, it feels like 8 years.
Literally. I think it was like 3.5 months.
3.5? Was it really just 3.5 months?
It was.
You know that the after the third AD gave us like our time codes, and we'd spent like an average of like 17 hours on set 6 days a week. And I was like, oh boy. Yeah, that's why it felt like 7 years. But it was so much fun. I didn't even realize. I mean, I know you're still a minor, but like we were there for a long time. I mean,
y'all were there. The boys were there for a long time, but thank goodness. Thank goodness. We had to clock out because we are minors. But we had to clock out at a certain time, and thank God, because honestly, we would have been there for so long. But it was actually it is fun sometimes. Like sometimes you just be like, oh my gosh, I want to stay, and then we get home and we'd be in our bed and we just
just knock out.
So Jadah, you're still in school. So how do you balance work and going to school?
Well, filming Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
filming Julie. Yeah. We actually had a set teacher. She's the best. I've had her before. She's literally the best. Her name is Jenny. Hi, Jenny. She's literally the best. And so me and Madison, I'm surprised we did any school because every time we would go to school, it was just like, we would just laugh. We would just play around. And it was just so much fun though. Cause it was like our kind of like time to just like relax, eat brownies and just chill. But then it was also like our relaxing time, but we didn't use it for like relaxing half of the time. We used it for just like to us to see each other. Cause sometimes we wouldn't have scenes together. And sometimes I'd have to go to set just to do school. So yeah, but I have like 5 hours of school every set day. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the time for like 9, 10 and a half hours. Now that I'm 15, I have an extra half an hour on my time. So it's 10 and a half, very much. 10 and a half hours that I have to film. So.
Yeah, those are long days.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it goes
by so fast sometimes.
I'm sorry?
It goes by fast sometimes.
Right.
Not all the time.
And I also wanted to talk about you shoot all of this in Vancouver, right?
Yes.
How is that like living away from home for 3.5 months?
For me, it was the first time I was kind of going out on a project by myself. I remember, so Jer had his soon to be, okay, so he got engaged during rehearsals. Mm-hmm. So, roommates with Jer, that's out of the question. He's gone. He's taken. He's got a wifey. And then obviously Maddie's too young to live with, and she's got her dad. So I remember Charlie and we were like mid rehearsals, and I remember him like kind of texting me and like feeling it out, and he'd send me like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in Vancouver and be like, this place looks pretty good, but like never ask me, hey, do you want a room together? It was kind of funny. It was like asking someone out for the first time, like feeling it out. And but we decided to live together, and everybody said it would be an awful idea. I don't think there was one person that said, yes, live with the person you're going to work with 20 hours a day. Everyone said it was a bad idea, and we got to Vancouver, and it was a blast. I never got a college experience, but living with Charlie was like a frat house with like 400 dudes. Like, it was intense. It was stressful. It was fun. The kid can cook. It was awesome. It was the best experience.
And Jadah, you said you weren't there for the entire shoot. So you said your father's in the industry? Did your mom? Did your dad? Did you have someone else that accompanied you there?
I was there for the whole shoot. I just wasn't there like all the time on set because I couldn't. But and also because I didn't film like they did film. They filmed all the time, like 24/7. I just filmed like here and there. But actually, I came out there with my mom, And we've been there before. We've been to Vancouver before, but me and my mom's favorite place. So we got to like show around like Madison and Mr. Reyes and Sonny, who plays Carlos. We got to show around him and his mom, and then his family flew out, so then we like, you know, got to show them everywhere. And it was actually really fun. I loved filming in Vancouver. The weather is amazing. Amazing. I love it.
You like the weather?
Yes.
You do? You like rainy?
I'm from California. Any rain is good because honestly, I love it. I don't know.
I would wake up. It felt like a antidepressant commercial every day.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
After but we came out like a good time. But then after like the last month of like us being there, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back to California.
Ready to go back.
I'm ready.
It was never cold though. It was just rainy.
It was just rainy, and then it would be like a wind. It was like kind of like if you're at the beach.
But do you know that beach scene where I'm in my shorts? My little zip-off shorts?
It looked cold.
They were hyping me up for that. They were like, dude, you have to zip off your little pants and wear shorts. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's pretty cold. It's like 40 degrees. And I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, guys. And they're like, no, it's funny. Do it. And I do it. And there's no laugh. It's just the establishing shot with like my little white knees out. It's so embarrassing.
I think they tricked you a bit to get that shot.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's what I want to talk about the next, because I love the costumes on this show. And so, you know, in all of your personalities, your costumes were just, I thought, really specific. How was the costume process like? Did you have any input on what your character wears?
Well, Soyeon, who is like the wardrobe consultant, kind of, if that's the right word for it. I don't know. But she actually gave us like a kind of a good idea, and like she gave us like free like our own opinion. She actually like wanted our opinions on everything, like to see if we liked it. Like she was so like nice with it. Like normally like when you go on a job, they're like, oh, okay, well this is what you're gonna wear, or they have a fitting with you and they're like, okay, well I like that one, and they kind of choose for you. But actually Soyeon like was like, oh, do you like that? Let me get another shirt. And she'll just like go and like she'll help around. So I thought that was so cool. And I honestly let Soyeon do whatever, because Flynn's a fashionista and I have fashion. Like give me jeans and a t-shirt, I will wear that. Like normally people put a jacket, I'd be like, no, I'll wear that. I'll just wear that. And I'm so basic when it comes to clothes. So I was just so excited to step out of my comfort zone, and Flynn's outfits honestly turned out so good. So I'm so glad that I let her do it.
Yeah, Soyeon, yeah, exactly. Soyeon would ask you things, and Soyeon's styled, like she's designed like shows, like Bruno Mars and Jonas Brothers. And then you're sitting there in a room with her and she's like, do you like that or do you want something else? I'm like, I don't know. This is great. This is so great. And then she asked me one thing. She was like, okay, well, give me something. Like, what do you want? And I was like, I want a chain. That's it. And she got me a chain and I stole it. I love it so much. I love Soyeon. Shout out to Soyeon.
Yeah, because I thought the costumes, I wonder how much input the actors had, because they were, like you said, they were stylish, they were specific to each character. And I think all of you looked very comfortable in what you were wearing. I mean, aside from, you know, the whole shorts at the beach. Beach.
Well, it's kind of funny, because if you go back and you look at our audition videos, I mean, we're all pretty close to what we wear in the show. Jer showed up with like leather and like the boots and the skinny jeans. Charlie showed up with the cutoffs. Every shirt. It's insane. Like if you get the kid a shirt, like don't be upset when he just starts cutting it to pieces. And then I showed up in a pink sweater. And they kind of took that and ran with it, and it's similar to what we're wearing in the show. It's pretty fun.
Right.
Yeah, and Jadah, your accessories were amazing too. That backpack.
Yes, and we also had a little backpack, and it was a dog, and we named it Boston. So if every time you guys rewatch Julie and the Phantoms and you see Boston, make sure you holler at Boston, because he's lonely. I don't even know where he's at. He's probably in a store. Something.
And speaking of loneliness, since this was released during, in September, you had to, you know, your press junkets and, you know, meeting up together was very different because it's all been virtual. So how has that been like for both of you? Promoting this movie virtually, not seeing the cast in the same way.
I was actually really sad because I was looking forward to seeing everyone at press, and I was like, just like me and Madison, we haven't seen each other in like almost a year at that point, so we were just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you at press. And like every time, like when we left each other for Vancouver, because I left one day and she left another, so like the day that we like said our goodbyes to each other, we were like, see you at press, and it never happened. It never happened. So I feel like we were just looking for that. We were like so happy for that, but you know, it didn't work. But at least we still have the power of the mighty iPhone, and we can FaceTime all the time. So I'm glad. But
they had some plans too. I mean, I don't think I can say anything, but they had some cool plans for the band, and we were all really stoked about it. And obviously, it's not Netflix's fault that a pandemic hit, but you know, also with just normal marketing, it's exciting. You get to travel, you get to, you know, get back together with your cast and go around and do little interviews together. And I mean, the alternative was chaotic, to say the least. I mean, I got like a huge suitcase and I had to set it up all myself. And if people watch, you know, that great performance that we did, or they watch any of the behind the scenes or like the little games that we played, we're all sitting there on Zoom playing together, and we're all putting everything up and setting everything up ourselves. And I mean, these turned into full days where we're, you know, PA, grips, electrical, we're everything. So it was a lot of work, but it was fun.
Yeah. So speaking of the pandemic, and we have a lot of, you know, viewers that, you know, they're from all around the world tuning in today, in different countries or in the different process of lockdown or semi-lockdowns. What did you two find during the lockdown that helped you kind of cope with, you know, not being with your cast members and not being able to get the band together and literally play in the same room? What did you find that helped you?
I mean, we have about 3,000 group chats. 3,000 group chats with everybody. We have one of like basically in the entire production. And then we have one with just us and Kenny, and then we have one of just Sunset Curve, and then we have one with Maddie, and then we have like, and they're just blowing up constantly. Once we left, I mean, we were probably FaceTiming every other day, at least a couple times a week. We would get on Zooms, and then we also had we got to do like a little band camp again, where we all got to write songs, and that lasted for a couple months, and that was a lot of fun. And we got to write some pretty cool songs that, you know, if we do get a chance to go back for season 2, hopefully you guys will hear some of those. But we've just basically been in contact the entire time. And then we obviously went out to Maui to see Kenny recently, which was nice.
And what about you personally? Like, how have you, Owen and Jadah, both, what did you do during the quarantine or lockdown, and did you pick up new hobbies? Like, how did you spend your time?
I figured out TikTok. I started drumming a lot, too much. I feel like a stay-at-home dad. I feel like a solid stay-at-home dad. I wake up at about 8, like I have something to wake up for. And then I go downstairs and I eat a huge breakfast. And then I take a nap until about like 2. And then it's pretty sad, honestly. But most of it is just, you know, staying sane by just being with my family, hanging out with my family. Right. What are you doing, Jadah? What are you doing?
Well, actually, this quarantine, I'm such an extrovert. Like, I love, like, even though like I'm here with like my family and stuff, like I see them every day. So I'm like, you know, like I'm such an extrovert. I love to like smell the fresh air. I like to be outside. I like to see my friends. And so it was very hard for me because I'm such a social person. But actually, quarantine has taught me that it's okay to have some like alone time. Like you know, like it also got me into like finding my introvert side of me, you know. And now I just love just sitting at home and watching movies sometimes, and that's okay. You know. So I feel like that was nice. Good.
That's such a nice answer. Mine was so depressing. Like so alone.
That's okay.
Great. I'm glad you found yourself, Jadah. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you both, though, that I think is really important is how are other people coping? So you don't feel like, we're isolated and we're not used to being isolated. Humans, we like to congregate and we like to hang out with our friends and go to the movies and do all those things. So I always love to ask the question, because for me too, there are moments where I'm like, well, what are other people doing and how are they coping? So I get inspired by hearing what other people are doing and
Were you inspired by mine?
I was. Even I appreciated the dark moodiness of your stay-at-home dad.
Feel free to do any of it.
I might even pick up drumming now.
Yeah, do it. It's a blast.
My neighbors will hate me, but
that's okay.
But my husband might divorce me, but I'll say Owen made me do it. So season 2, can you tell us anything?
Oh my gosh, I thought you were
give us a crumb of what.
I thought she was someone else. I was like, okay.
I was excited. I thought she was like, so season 2 is happening. I was like, great. When are we going?
Know anything? Anything?
You tell us. We have
Jadah, do you know anything?
Yeah, when we tell you guys, we don't know. We don't know just as much as y'all don't know. At least I don't know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm sure there's plans being made, but I mean, I can't imagine it's easy to I mean, we're in a world that is completely different than when we wrapped season 1. So, and especially, I mean, I don't know anything. I'm guessing all of this, but our dance sequences and stuff have 70 dancers in it. That can't be an easy thing to plan out for production. So, fingers crossed that we get a season 2, and hopefully, we're able to figure out how to do it safely.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah. Well, we have so many fans that are tuning in right now, and I know they're dying to ask y'all questions. So let's turn it over to the Q&A from our beautiful audience members.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Talking about season 2, I don't have the answer, but someone asked, what's one storyline you want to see explored a little more should there be a season 2 renewal?
Jadah, got anything in mind?
Honestly, I would love for there to be a season 2. And honestly, what I want to see if we have a season 2 is probably just getting in depth with more of the characters. I feel like more, even though you kind of know the backstory of, the boys and Madison, and I just really want to see the relationship with Willie and Alex. I'm with y'all. And also just seeing more of Juke, seeing more of just everything fall together, honestly. Because I don't know, that cliffhanger, y'all. That cliffhanger. I want to know just as much as y'all.
Yeah, I would love to. Obviously, we saw a little bit of Luke's past, but I would love to see, Reggie's past. Maybe go back and see some of, of Alex's. And I'm with you, Jadah. I honestly I want Willie to come back. I want Booboo to come back, just because it'd be a blast to have Booboo back in Vancouver and hang out with him.
Booboo.
I think it would also be really, really funny if another guy came into the relationship and was on whoever's side. I think that would be interesting to watch play out.
Real. That's actually good. That's actually really good.
Right?
Okay.
Drama, slowly turn into a Jersey Shore.
Ooh. Who's Snooki?
Maddie. Come on. Come on, Maddie Snooki. Don't even lie. All right, next question.
All right. We have so many. If you were a ghost that habits a haunted house, how would you attract people to go inside?
I would do a Rocky Horror Picture Show thing. They're driving by, I'd pop their tire, it's raining, they have to come into the house, and then I what does he do? Brainwashes them into being his backup dancers? I think that's what he does. So I think that's what I would do.
Okay. Period. Okay. I don't know. I would probably, that's actually a really good question. What? That was actually a really good question. I don't know. I'd probably just tell them, I'd be like, go into the abandoned house. It's so scary. And it would probably be in October. So then they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes, an adventure. And then they're gonna go.
So you're only haunting you're only haunting in the month of October.
Yeah.
The
That's
other
like,
11
that's
months,
my, like, my time where I like
okay,
come back into the earth and I'm like, it's October.
okay.
Yeah.
It's October? Okay, got it. Yeah, I understand.
Going back to the question that Kiki asked about your process of developing your character, Paula is asking, how's your process to finding, understanding, and developing your character's attitude, personality, the way they walk, move, etc.?
This one was a little bit different. I think this project was, I think Kenny really seeks the character. I mean, he finds the character, he casts the character, you know, like, I mean, we're all pretty similar to who we are. And, you know, maybe Luke is a little bit more of what Charlie wants to be. This suave guy from, you know, who has like a New York accent for no reason. But you know, it kind of just comes as you go, especially through rehearsals and you know, practicing lines with your buddies. And it's a lot of just sitting there and thinking about what he would do in situations. I like to do a lot of like you know, like going through the scenes and then saying, you know, why am I coming at this scene? And then where have I been before this? And then that kind of helps you create, you know, your character and who he is and the mindset that he has going into these scenes. Like Alex and his anxiety. You know, what's his backstory? Where has he been with his family, the struggles he's been through, stuff like that.
Right. Well, when I got the audition, normally when I get auditions, I make up a backstory. Even if they don't have one, I make up one. So it kind of gives the character, it kind of gives me something to work with. You know what I mean? So I always make a backstory. But honestly, when I got the audition, Kenny told me about the audition. He gave me the whole storyline. So it was easy to pick and, you know, get why, you know, they're so close and get why Julie and Flynn are so close and all of that stuff. So definitely, I feel like getting into the character was kind of just like another side of me that I didn't really, I guess, like know of. So it was kind of fun. And also, I asked Kenny all the time what he felt about this line, how I should say it. And he was so open with helping me. And it was so much fun. Like the one scene where we did the dance news, that is me and Kenny's favorite line because we kind of like worked with it together and it's just like our favorite. I mean, it's yeah.
So actually, it's funny you're mentioning Kenny because our next question is from Morgan and she's asking, what's your favorite memory with Kenny on set?
Wow.
Yeah, if you had one to choose,
So good.
which one would it be?
That's so tough.
Oh, maybe you can say two.
No, it's just hard to even like, there's so much happening and there's so much laughing that it's like, I mean, what do you can't write down every moment.
Yeah.
My favorite moment with Kenny. I really liked, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is Kenny came up to me with an idea and I was in a bad mood. And I said, and first of all, my favorite moments, obviously there's all the moments where we're laughing on set constantly. Every single day is a blast. But my favorite memory is the biggest lesson I learned. And he came up to me with an idea and he was a little excited about it. And I remember saying, like, kind of shutting it down immediately and almost saying no. And really respectfully, he just looked at me and he said, fine. And he walked away. And I was like, that's not good. I was like, whatever just happened, I did something wrong. And I was like, I was in a bad mood. I was tired. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that. And then when the scene came around, I did it anyway. And it was genius. And it was a great idea. And I'm not going to tell people what it was because I want to take credit for it. But it was a good idea. And so never say no initially. Never say no. Think about it. Think about it. Especially not to Kenny Ortega.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't shut down his ideas. He's got some good ones.
I don't know. I feel like every time I greeted Kenny, he would always be like, so, are you ready? And I feel like that was like my highlight of my day. So I guess that is it. Cause I don't know, Kenny, I have so many, like, just Kenny's amazing. And I miss him very much. So I don't know. There's a lot of memories, and there's so much going on, like so much going on when we're working and stuff. So yeah, that's probably my favorite memory.
So we have a lot of friends on Facebook, on Zoom here, and they're from literally around the world, from Spain, Italy, Argentina, Paraguay, the Philippines as well. It's like 1 a.m. over there. They're tuning in. And one person asked on Facebook, how do you feel about the impact of the show that is like worldwide, and how does it make you feel?
Um, the impact of like what we think the show has done for people, or like the
For
success.
you particularly as Owen, and for you as Jadah, do you feel a sense of responsibility, or do you feel, I'm sure you feel happy about it?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, we feel happy. I mean, I personally, like, I really, really, really put a lot of work into it, and everybody has. I mean, I'm just saying, like 22-hour days, and we never stopped. And part of that was, we saw the amount of heart and effort and responsibility that Kenny took onto this project. I mean, the guy never stops thinking. We'd go out to dinner and everyone has kind of tried to forget about work for a minute, right? And you're just trying to relax. And he's sitting there and he's quiet, and then he'll come up with an idea and be like, what if we did this for this moment? And that's why his stuff is so great, because he never stops. He never stops thinking. And I think the cast saw that, and we kind of took that responsibility on ourselves to, we want to make him proud, but something that he's working so hard for, we don't want to sit there and let him down once we're in front of the camera.
Right.
So to see people kind of respond to it and appreciate it is like, and that means the most. And especially coming, to my character, he is an openly gay character, and I really wanted to do, I wanted to make people proud, and I wanted to do something people would be proud of and enjoyed watching, and maybe they could connect to, especially since maybe we have a younger audience. Someone struggling could say, kind of connect with Alex, and hearing people's stories and coming forward to me and saying, that they feel seen is like, it's honestly just like, it's the biggest honor that I've ever had acting, and I never thought that I would be able to play a character that means so much to people. So that's probably um, that probably meant the most to me.
Yeah.
The impact that it's had has been incredible.
Janet?
And yeah, I totally agree with what Owen said. And I feel like us having such an impact on everybody kind of gives us a responsibility, and us kind of being role models, even though, we're like, we're kind of, it's hard to explain, but we're kind of just like, everybody's just looking at us, if that makes any sense, looking into our personal life. And so we kind of have to be this role model. We kind of have to be this persona that's positive, and just be there for people who need it, if that makes any sense. And so I feel like, yeah, I just feel like we have a big responsibility to make everyone proud, because, we work so hard on Julie, and just seeing everybody love it, it makes us love our job more than we do, So yeah.
One thing that's tough, Jada, too, and you could probably comment on this too, is like, I feel like people see the and it's all a blessing, but people see like the 1.3 million followers, or they'll see the TikTok engagement, or they'll see this or this, and they'll be like, isn't this incredible? And it's all amazing. But then there's also a side that, that the user sees, like myself, where you get, DMs and people reach out to you because they feel close to you because of the show, which is amazing. But they'll come to you and they'll tell you, their personal problems and things that they're struggling with. And there's 500,000, people coming forward, and you want to be there for everybody. So, I mean, just at the same time, it's really, really exciting. But at the same time, you kind of go into it with a heavy heart. There's a part of you that has this responsibility of feeling like, I have to respond to each and every one of these people, and you want to be there for them.
Right.
And that's the tough side.
Yeah, especially because our show speaks on a lot of really open and important topics nowadays. So it's like our show and influences and kind of helps other people with their problems, which is amazing because getting the chance to help people through their problems and help them, you know, get into that. I don't know. It's hard just seeing people, you know, grow and love our show and really get influenced and inspired by our show really means a lot. And it also has a lot of responsibility coming with that because, you know, you always, you know, you get like a lot of DMs, like Owen said, about people being like, oh my gosh, this, and, you know, you want to reply. And sometimes I do, but you can't reply to all of them, which is so sad. But, you know, it's like, yeah.
Well, thank you for doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, both of you. There is touching on that point. I mean, I'm just reading one message on Zoom, and I think I should share it with you. Lilia, she said, my dad died on November 21st, and he and I used to listen to some of the songs from Julie and the Phantoms in the car, and he loved them. And being here with you makes me happy because he thinks my dream was always to meet you.
Oh, that's so
Oh my
sweet.
God.
Well, I'm very sorry
I'm
for your
gonna
loss.
start crying.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the kind of stuff, you know, that it kind of, you know, it pushes you back for a minute because, you know, you're going on set every single day and you're there to read lines. And while you're doing it, you know, you're trying to make good content for people to watch and get your streams up. You want to make a successful show. And then it comes with responses like that where you realize you were creating something much bigger than you ever thought you could be a part of. And that's what's so exciting. So thank you very much. What was her name?
Her name is Lilia Arojo.
Thank you very much for watching the show. Thanks for being
Yes, thank you. We love you so, so much. Ugh. Woo.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Let's see from Facebook. For both of you, but specifically about Jadah, because what was the hardest part about playing Flynn because you had to pretend the boys weren't there?
Oh, that, oh my gosh. Having the scenes with Owen was the worst because he literally is so funny. He's so funny that I can't like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to explain because it's like I have to pretend like I'm just like dozing off half of the time, even though there's dialogue going like in between. I'm so awkward. Like it's like I'm just like,
Hey,
and it's like it's just so awkward. And then I'm trying so hard not to laugh because 75% of Owen's lines are funny. Like they're so hilarious. And some of them aren't even like meant to be funny. He makes them funny, which is like, it's like so unexpected. And it's so, oh my gosh. So it's probably it was really hard. It was really hard because I'm working with the most funniest people on set.
You remember your line where, what do you say? What do you say when you come in and you're talking about the
Dance moves. And then Carlos sprays the salt.
Oh, the salt. Yeah, that was a good scene.
That was a good scene. It was.
That was so much fun.
That was like the
we were all together in that scene.
We were all in that scene.
We never get those opportunities to all be together. Usually,
it's rarely that we like.
There's so many time restrictions and stuff, you know. But it's fun.
For real. It was.
So you said this one was one of the favorite scenes, and Facebook is asking, Jadah, what was your favorite scenes? And for you both, Jadah and Owen in Julie and the Phantoms, what was your favorite? And we'll wrap it up for today.
Probably the scene where we go to Carrie's house and I fall. And that was actually, me and Madison practiced that on our way to set. And we were like, let's just surprise Kenny. But Kenny actually thought I fell. And so he was like, cut, Jadah, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, oh no, I'm fine. And then he was like, okay. And I was like, oh no, we put that in there. And Madison was like, yeah, she didn't really fall. And he was like, okay, keep that. And then he ran back. We did it again. So that's probably my favorite scene. It was so funny.
I love the scene where you're talking to, what is it, Nick and Carrie, where you're trying to distract them.
That's my favorite episode.
Kills me every single time. One of my favorite scenes is we did Nothing to Lose, because and solely for the purpose that like those little those little like solos that you hear in there, we got time, like we were told beforehand. So we were like, hey, let's try to come up with our own solos and pitch them and throw them in the show. And Kenny's so cool that he tells us from the very beginning, like, we're partners, we're creative partners. So we came up like all those solos that you hear, Nothing to Lose, those were ours. And that was just exciting to be able to film and put in there. And then also, sharing a stage with Cheyenne Jackson isn't too bad.
Oh, the king.
The king.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course.
I hope you all enjoyed our today's conversation. Now you have, of course, many, many reasons to watch or rewatch Julie and the Phantoms over the weekend with your friends and family. And I want to remind you that the replay will be available on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, share the video, and give us a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Thank you to our incredible guests, Jadah and Owen. I wish you the best of luck in your career. I'm sure it's going to be very long because you're so young and beautiful and very optimistic about the future. You have like so many years ahead of you. So I wish you the best. And I'd like to thank my dear friend Kiki for being my co-host today. It was so much fun having you back. And of course, there's no show without an audience. So you guys are truly amazing. I want to say happy birthday to Anna Belinda. And thank you all for your support and tuning in today. And actually, the fans have a surprise for our guests today. So let's see what it is.
Wow.
Let's see what it is. Are you all ready?
Wow.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm a very emotional person, so I might cry.
Let's
I
go.
might cry.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. That is
Wow.
so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna start
Wait,
crying.
keep them up. Keep them up. I'm still
I'm gonna
going.
start crying. Hold on.
I'm sliding through all the slides.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Hey, I like the one with Alex on it.
There's one with Alex on it?
Yeah. You got to scroll through all of these.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Emma, I like that you're like, what's
Martina.
up? Yeah, what's up?
Oh my
You guys
god.
are awesome.
We love you guys.
Oh, what is that? Is that a drawing? Nicole? That's so dope.
Hi,
Thank you very
Francesca.
much.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Love all of you.
Hi, we love that. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Thank you all so much. And thank you to all our Chelsea fan pages for supporting us. Remember to follow Chelsea Film Festival on social media, to follow our guests, Owen and Jadah, for more fun experiences. Join us at 3 p.m. today for our Christmas Zoom party. Please stay safe, healthy, and have a beautiful weekend if I don't see you this afternoon. And bye, everyone. I'm going to play some music now as
Bye, everyone.
Thanks
program.
for coming, guys.
Thanks for
Love
coming.
you. Love you so much. Thank you. Thank you.